What a night. Amazing. So inspiring. This is going to be a tough one because the people that we're honoring have been incredible advocates and friends for so many here in the room tonight. On behalf of Daniel Harrington, a rare patient, advocate in the Batten's community, who submitted an incredibly heartfelt and in-depth 10-page nomination, and for the hundreds, if not thousands, of friends and family who've been impacted by these remarkable individuals, I humbly present the next Rare Champion of Hope Award in Patient Advocacy. Jennifer and Tracy VanHoutan have become important friends of all of us in the rare disease community. They've become important beacons of hope for so many, showcasing how two people with no medical, policy, or research expertise were transformed into leaders with far-reaching impact. Over the past decade, their tireless efforts have promoted impactful clinical changes through a combination of bench-to-bedside research funding, community awareness, mentoring, community support, and activism around federal policy and legislative advocacy. From a starting point of vulnerability, their passion, drive, and pursuit to save their children built a pathway of advocacy in clinical trial and drug policy that has become a template for future parents in rare disease. Just a few of their accomplishments. Co-founders of Noah's Hope, board member, Batten Disease Research Foundation, scientific advisory board member, Batten Disease Research Foundation, board member, Every Life Foundation for Rare Diseases. They've contributed to the successful development of an enzyme replacement therapy that can delay the onset of Batten disease symptoms, which is now being used by more than 125 children worldwide. With this effort, they co-funded the initial academic research. They provided input on clinical trial design and endpoints. They've advocated for clinical trial access and provided critical testimony at the FDA review meeting prior to its approval. More than $1 million in grassroots fundraising for research, resources, and patient support have been part of their successes. National awareness of Batten's disease with medical professionals, lay people, and lawmakers through various programs that they've driven through their foundation. They've been involved in direct legislative advocacy for transformative change to federal policy that encourages the development of new treatments for rare disease, like the Food and Drug Administration Safety and Innovation Act of 2012, FDASIA, and the 21st Century Cures Act of 2016. Literally, the list went on and on. Despite all of this incredible effort, the success for all of us, the forward movement that they've been driving, the VanHoutans have helped create for the Batten disease community and for all of us. Despite all of that effort, sadly, neither of their amazing children would benefit from their work. Handsome Noah passed at age 11, just weeks shy of his 12th birthday, and beautiful Lainey joined her brother in heaven 2 years later in 2018. Their incredible smiles have been missed by all of us. My dear friends, you and your family have inspired me personally every day. To virtually stand side by side with this community as we all help fight for patients and children worldwide. And I know that there are so many people here in this room who've been equally impacted by your leadership, your friendship, and your incredible work. Your contributions and willingness to join alongside others arm in arm in this fight has been so extraordinary and important for all of us. You've also gone above and beyond to help others, even though you were still in your own fight to save your children. You are both champions of hope in every sense of the world. And through it all today, you're still an important beacon for all of us. All of us have become so reliant on your strength and courage. You are loved by so many of us. And the reality is that this honor is so deserving and very long overdue. We love you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage our champions of hope and patient advocacy, Tracy and Jennifer VanHoutan.
Some introduction. We want to thank Global Genes, Nicole, and the entire rare disease community for this very important and honor. Thank you very much.
And I wanted to tell you a little bit about Noah and Lane. In 2004, Noah was actually 2 years old, and we had twin 6-month-old babies. And that summer, Noah pushed his dump truck everywhere. He pushed it a mile one day. And we thought life was busy and chaotic then, with having 3 kids in 20 months. But life got a little bit more complicated, and over the next couple years, Noah started having seizures and started tripping, and it took us about 16 months, and we finally found a diagnosis at Duke Children's in Raleigh-Durham. He was diagnosed with CLN2 Batten Disease, and we quickly learned that he was going to continue to get worse. He was going to lose his ability to walk and talk and eat by himself, and the disease was likely to end by his 12th birthday. That summer, we looked at Lane and Emily. They were 3.5 at the time, and we decided to test them, and we learned that Lane also had CLN2 Batten.
So after the diagnosis of our
Wait,
children.
I have one more thing.
Okay.
I'm sorry. This is how we operate. Nicole mentioned that Noah and Lane each passed away in March, and I call them their angelversaries. They're within 6 days of each other, and I think, there's a reason for that, and they're tightly together in heaven. And I just want to make sure that we look at it as a beautiful thing at this point after surviving with this disease and suffering so long.
So after Noah and Lane's diagnosis, we formed Noah's Hope, and as Nicole said, we did a few things. But a year or so after Noah and Lane's diagnosis, we made a Global Genes connection. And I believe my first introduction to this organization was at a meeting actually at FDA. And I met Chris Hempel. And she introduced me to Nicole, and we had a conference call. Now, if you know Chris and Nicole, and you remember that first conference call you had with the two of them, it was like drinking from the fire hose. And not that they had the concrete tools and things that Global Genes has now, but they had these ideas of where they wanted to take this organization. And they also had a lot of kids hot gluing these denim ribbons together that I'm wearing tonight. And with those two things, with the ideas and these hot glued denim ribbons, they were out to change the world. And by God, you guys have done it. We attended our first Global Genes Summit in 2012, and if I recall right, there was about 80 people in a room. We sat in the same seats for the entire day. People stood up where they were at and gave their presentations. And it has grown to this amazing multi-day event now with over 1,000 people in attendance tonight. So I'd just like to round of applause for all. As Nicole mentioned, starting in 2009, we were fortunate to be able to engage with BioMarin on an enzyme replacement program for CLN2 Batten Disease. And that culminated in a little over 2 years ago in April of 2017 with the first FDA-approved therapy for any form of Batten disease.
And just a little note on September 20th, which is this day, we were at our Global Genes Summit, and it was 2013, so 6 years ago, we learned of the first patient in Germany being dosed with the enzyme replacement therapy in the clinical trial that led to the approval of Brineura for children with CLN2 Batten.
So we'd just like to give a few shout outs and really people or organizations that should be up here receiving this. Dr. David Sleeton Lobel at Rutgers University, who discovered the gene and funded that performed that initial work. Our foundation partners, Dave and Sarah Kennicott, who are in the room tonight, who have been with us in this every step of the way. I'd like to thank the Batten Disease Support and Research Association, our national patient advocacy group, who is there with us every step of the way and really did a lot of the heavy lifting during the clinical trial. I know Tracy Kirby is here tonight. I'm not sure where she's at, but she was a huge part of that. And finally, we'd like to thank the team at BioMarin, Hank and Chuck, Dave, Tom, Andy, Pascal, really everyone who touched this program and believed in it. They really created this transformative therapy. We do so wish that Noah and Lane could have benefited from this transformative therapy, but we know that they're smiling down on us tonight and really every time that a child with CLN2 is treated, and has a very far different outcome than our children.
And to close, I just want to say that our sole purpose in working in Batten disease and with the rare disease community is that we are reminded of Noah and Lane every day, and they are our hope moving forward so that we can continue to bring more awareness and potential therapies for the 7,000 rare diseases that we all know too well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.